it's going to be days when you wake up, you don't feel like it. It's going to be days where you ask yourself, are you healing? It's going to be days where you lack confidence. It's going to be days where you lack self-esteem. It's going to be days where you lack motivation and drive. And that's what the trauma bonds will do to you. To be honest, it just dismantles your entire perception of how you see yourself, how you view yourself, how you perceive, you know, confidence. What is it? It's trauma bonds are emotional addiction. For real, for real. Like it's emotional addiction. You're addicted to the chaos um, of dealing with certain events, certain people, certain ways. It doesn't have to be that way. You feel me? It never does. It's so rough to be able to become aware of a bond that you have like this, of that kind of like traumatic stress on you, because you don't want to identify it because you're that scared of it. And it's a lot. It can be a lot to deal with. It can be very overwhelming because it's day by day. And sometimes, you know, a lot of that anxiety comes out of nowhere. You know, those moments where you start bursting in tears out of nowhere because you're ruminating about the situation. You know, you wake up out of a nightmare, out of sleep. You know, you may often find yourself saying sorry a lot for things that don't necessarily be your fault. You know, I'm actually fixing that habit. I got a habit of that. But you know, so let me not. But I'm just saying, for the most part, like, this is what trauma bonds typically do to you, and it hurts your development as an individual, as a person. You know, it hurts your development with your mind. You know, how you just build self-esteem and self-worth. You know, a lot of times it's almost like you're being bullied by the narcissist. You are being bullied by the narcissist. Let me just keep it a stack with you. You know, and they like that mentality that you display. They like the mentality that you display about feeling inferior to them when they speak up about the situation. They like the mentality when you avoid bringing up that topic. They like that because they know that you're bonded through them, through that negative situation, to where they're gonna bark at you bigger than what you're gonna bark at them. They like that. Mm-hmm. They sure do. It's off the chain, and they're going to use that against you once they see that you've given them, you know, full control like that. They're definitely going to use that against you because it's a control mechanism for them. You know what I'm saying? It's they the trauma bond with a narcissist is like, you know, they'll confuse, like, they'll feed you breadcrumbs, and at some point the crumbs start becoming the real meal. You know what I'm saying? You start to believe that. You start to believe these crumbs is the real meal. You know, starving you of, for real, just genuine connection, just empathy, on purpose, to get you to be caught up in that negative vibe that they gotta have. You know, they gotta make you scared of them some way, somehow. That emotional, you just had that fear, you know, and that anxiety. And it's just, it sucks that, you know, looking back on my own situations, like, it sucks just living in that fear, like that, living in the fear of somebody's what they think, what we think they're going to say if we bring up this thing that we're trying to get closure about, you know, and manipulating you and making you feel like you're crazy, and making you feel like um, you don't deserve any kind of this kind of treatment of normal. You know, they gotta be able to do it like that. They gotta be able to confuse you like that and make you struggle. You know, that's why I'm saying, like, I understand and I got it. You know, the journey of coming out of this stress, the journey of trying to figure out how to have confidence in oneself again. You know, I understand why it may seem like it'll never happen. I understand why it may seem like that version of you is so far off in it or don't even exist. You know what I'm saying? I understand, but I'm here to tell you, bro, sis, like there's that version of you can walk away from this mental chain, you know, this emotional chain. You feel what I'm saying? It's like being it's like being chained to a ghost, but you can still feel them even when they're not here. You know what I'm saying? That's the bond. You know, you still, even when you go to the store, or when you go over your friend's house or some family member's house, you have that emotional distress about a situation that narcissist is not thinking about while you're thinking about it. You know, while you're at that party, and while you're at that birthday party, you're stressing out about a situation that was caused dealing with the narcissist. Chemically and emotionally bonding with the narcissist. That's what they want. They want you to they want you to do it like that. They want you to just put so much energy and involvement in these things in your mind, so that when they hear you talk, and they hear you talk with that that sorrow, that sadness, you know what I'm saying? They like that. I know this is probably crazy to say, but it's real. They like to see that sorrow and sadness on you. They like to see that trauma on you. Because the thing is this, and if they didn't, they wouldn't do it. But they don't even know that they're doing it. Most of them, all of them. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, your how they see you is how they're going to always see you, as inferior. And when you treat yourself as such, that's when they get you. That chaos. They normalize that chaos with you. They normalize. You better not go to that club anymore without them, or even after, because you've traumatically bonded with this place, that you don't even want to drive past it, because it triggers that emotion. It triggers that energy. You don't even want to go certain places. Trust, I got you. I understand. You know, I truly understand, and I got it, because it's that anxiety is a lot. That anxiety is a lot. That anxiety can take over your entire day. Like, this is a lot of the stuff that I say about healing, about getting over, the bonds, getting over people that have been toxic to you in your life. It is important to give yourself the victory that you deserve. It's so important to be able to do that. You got to be able to get up, to walk and run. It's going to hurt. It's going to suck. Embrace the suck, bro, sis. I'm not trying to be off the chain or mean to you, nothing like that, but you got to embrace the suck when it comes to these trauma bonds. To get through them, you got to work through it. Don't try to go around it. See, one thing that I realized from my observation of being around the narcissist, my narcissist, they like to try to go around problems and don't deal with the issue head on, and the issue still be there. When you're healing, you can't do that. You have to grow through it. You know what I'm saying? So you can get stronger. The narcissist will avoid that kind of work, that strength. You feel what I'm saying? That's why when they see that weakness on you, it feels good to them to see that weakness on you. They don't want to feel that. That's why when they see it on you, they don't want to feel that themselves. No, they do not want to feel that. So they want to make you feel like that, so they can see it, and then it makes them feel good about their ego. You feel what I'm saying? So when you get that weakness off you and you work through this and put that strength on, you put that armor on. That's why this is what I'm saying about when you want to really break the trauma, you got to take yourself serious. You got to really do that work. You know what I'm saying? That narcissist has done so much work on you, so much work on your mind. That mental fog, walking around confused, looking disturbed. Trust me, I got it. Looking disturbed and off the chain. Dealing with the narcissist, trying to figure out if dealing with the narcissist, trying to figure out if any of this is real. is there a punk camera, or is there Ashton Kutcher? It's got to be punk, right? Yeah, got to be playing. You know, so this is how you thinking about with the narcissist. Like, this can't be real. I know I'm off the chain, but I'm just saying, like, this can't be real. You know what I'm saying? And that's why when you speak about this, and the trauma bond even gets worse, because when you speak about this to people who don't know, who have no idea, who are on, who think that, who will think that you're weird for thinking somebody is this evil, because they don't even have no consciousness or an awareness to even understand. That's why you got to find people who's been through this, who knows about this, because again, it makes it worse when you can't convey your thoughts, you're trying to understand what's happening. You can't bounce these thoughts off people who have no idea. You know what I'm saying? Because they're living in autopilot themselves. This whole abuse thing, this wakes you up. You're turned autopilot off. Take control, bro, sis. Take control. Your journey starts with you taking control. You've been living on autopilot for so long, dealing with the narcissist, and that's why these bonds are so hard. And then when it even feels even more isolated, because you can't talk to people about it. So you got to find people to talk about this with, and grow as you're doing so, and you start to become more aware of just more of the concept of self and self-worth, and how much it is important to hear yourself. You know what I'm saying? You don't need to hear what the narcissist thinks of you anymore. It does not serve you in any shape, form, or fashion. I can assure you, it does not serve you. You know, I know it's easier said than done to say it like this, but no, it really is. You just gotta follow suit, and these bonds will follow, these chains will fall off, these mental distress falls away, it goes away. You even make fun of it. I make fun of it. You know, I'd be damned if I ever go back, or even go. It ain't enough money in the world to ever deal with nothing like that ever again. Out of control. That buffoonery. If this is what I'm saying, even as I'm talking about it, is just to hear about all these things to get you caught up mentally dealing with this individual, so that you can't grow. You stunt your own process, trying to just trying to outdo the version of you that they told you that you need to be like, and push that goalpost further. And you'll never feel enough. That's why you lack confidence, because you'll never feel enough, because they keep saying that this isn't good enough, even though you've already outdone yourself. This is what I'm saying, and then having to step in and save them from themselves. You know what I'm saying? Trying to figure out why is this individual so out of control and so like this 24/7? I don't understand. 0 to 100 real quick. You know, like I don't even understand. So when you're moving forward in your life after this, a lot of things start to come, you know, to you just by proxy of just working on yourself. You start to bring in that energy that you were trying to get when you were the narcissist. You don't have to recharge yourself with people. You know what I'm saying? You're recharging you. You're recharging your spirit, your soul. You know what I'm saying? You can't do that around a narcissist. You can't fix the problem in the same area that the problem happened in. You cannot. It's just you're not. You know, and a lot of us were trying to do that. I know I was trying to do that. I was trying to fix the problem in the same environment that caused it. And it I would have never gotten here to this journey. I would never have made this video. I've never gotten to this channel. You know what I'm saying? I would never have made videos that have helped people, from reading the comments that, I would have never gotten here had I not broke those bonds. I would have never gotten the gym. I would have never, taken my parenthood serious. I would never have taken my fatherhood serious. I would never have taken certain things serious in my life, my family, everything as serious as I do, because I understand my time. You know what I'm saying? That's what I want you to understand, and I want to convey to you your time. Your time is special. You feel what I'm saying? And how you spend your time is so valuable. So you have to create that version of yourself that is going to be able to receive the gifts in this time that you have. You're not going to be able to do that with the narcissist. There's nothing that you can fix out. You can fix love through pray for it, none of that. They got to figure that out. I'm not trying to be off the chain, but I'm just trying to keep it a stack with you. You cannot, and they're going to spend that time doing that. They're going to spend that time doing the same stuff they were doing around you, wherever else that is at. And as you move forward, a lot of these triggers don't happen. You can drive by that said club, and not feel any kind of way about it. You might even run into the narcissist, not even feel any kind of way about it. Yes, don't even phase you. Didn't even phase me. True story. Didn't even phase me. I was like, well, no anxiety, no nothing, because I've worked on myself so much, my brain didn't even register none of the trauma at the point, So it's that too, when you're doing things that are actively increasing self to make you and put you in a better state of mind and mental being and positivity. I'm telling you, a lot of how you feel, the negativity is just the trauma. It just really, let me make this clear. The scars don't go away, right? You just get stronger with them. You feel me? How many of us have a scar that's still here that might be worn away, but you still got that scar, but you've gotten stronger since then because you haven't had that scar has not reopened, right? You feel what I'm saying? So it's just the concept of work. The more idle you are about, what you've been through dealing with the narcissist, the more you'll sit in the pain. Don't sit in the pain no more, bro, sis. Don't need to be so bonded to these kind of people about things that most was never in your control, because their mind were always out of control. You trying to help them control something, their mind is out of control. They're so opposite. Once you start to figure out and see how they move around, and you start to peep all this other stuff, you start to see how chaotic and wild that they are. And that's what I'm saying about just separating yourself. You feel what I'm saying? You will indirectly get your revenge, because they can't process the version of you that they thought you should have been, because they saw you jump through fire rings, and they saw you chase this version and kept pushing back. And now you've changed this whole reality. Your reality. Changing your reality caused the injury to them. You feel what I'm saying? This is as you move forward in life, understand, like I always say, this is a journey, not a destination. The narcissist that has caused those bonds with you that you've received from them, they can't comprehend how you let that go, how you've achieved that kind of peace, how you achieved not having to speak to them about this same said argument. You continue to go in circles. Them arguments you be having with a narcissist that be going in circles, and you still having that same argument about said event a year, or 2 years, or 3 years. They can't figure out how you stop doing that, how you stop going in a circle with them. They can't figure out how you stop just letting them trigger you. They don't know what that looks like. That's why they want to look at you and see the pain they cause on you to feel good. Straight up. They want to be able to see you traumatically bonded to them. Straight up. No. No, you can tell them to ride out. Tell that identity that they gave you to ride out. Straight up. Your it's all here. And as you work on here, you regulate your emotions. You know what I'm saying? It's time. And you got to spend this special time that you have in the way that you need to give it to yourself, so that you can align yourself and find those people and those things that make sense. You know what I'm saying? Quit spending your special time giving it to somebody who has no idea what to do with theirs. Not a clue. not a. They got so much carefree that they don't care about how reckless they live and getting you involved in said recklessness, traumatically bonding you mentally, emotionally, as you go forward in life, because they like seeing that on you. No, I say take it off. I say don't live that way. I say don't carry that way. I say keep moving forward. Keep moving forward in your life. Make sure that as you progress, you always grow through, not go around. Don't let those problems sit there. Address them. Work on self. Build self. Remember, it's a daily 1% deposit. You feel what I'm saying? Slow is smooth, and smooth is fast. So, I hope this message finds you well. I'm Fonzie Murph, and I'm out. Peace.